This is 5 on your side at 4, focused on you.
We begin tonight with developing news out of St. Charles County. A car carrying 6 teenagers crashed around 1:30 this morning on Newtown Boulevard west of Highway B. 1 teenager is dead, 5 other teens are injured. The victim's family identified her as 16-year-old Kaylin Keithy. Thanks for being here. I'm Kay Quinn.
And I'm Brent Solomon. Right now, we do not know the status of the other teens injured in that crash, but we're told they were taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening conditions. Those teens are all between the ages of 14 and 16.
This is a developing story. Elise Schoenig will have more tonight at 5. We will also keep you up to date online as we learn more.
There's new information today into a hit and run in Jefferson County. A driver striking a motorcyclist who was waiting at a stoplight before that driver took off. Missouri State Highway Patrol says within the past 48 hours, they've been tracking down leads to find that driver. Fortunately, the victim recovered. Our Justina Cornell spoke to the victim just a few hours ago. Justina.
Yeah, Brent, so I spoke to Blake Ball, who was leaving work on his bike. He was on Highway 141 in Fiedler Lane, waiting at the red light when the unexpected happened. Now, we do want to warn you, this crash was caught on cam, and it can be hard to watch. Now, Ball tells me he was waiting for the light to turn green when a car slammed into him. Ball said he didn't black out and actually remembers getting hit. He explained to me he bounced off the car in front of him and landed on the ground only to see the other driver back up and speed off. Now, Ball says he's shocked that no bones are broken, but he's bruised and beaten up. He's most surprised that someone would leave.
The complete indecency or no couth at all to even stop and realize what they did. I mean, the biggest takeaway is just people really need to pay attention and look out what they're doing.
Now, State Highway Patrol is looking for a blue Chevy Cruze with a temp tag. It should have some front end damage. Now, the car was last seen on southbound on Highway 21 from 141.
All right, thank you, Justina. Some city leaders are getting a pay raise. Mayor Jones has signed Board Bill 119 into law. It was passed just hours ago. The measure doubles the salaries of the city's aldermen. The new pay rate will begin in April. Aldermen will have to work at least 32 hours a week. The board will reduce its number of members from 28 to 14 in April.
We continue our coverage on contamination concerns in North St. Louis County. 5 on your side spoke with Senator Josh Hawley after we first reported his proposed bill that he's calling Justice for Jana. He wants the federal government to pay for schools to be tested if they've been impacted by radioactive contamination. Hazelwood schools are asking the Army Corps of Engineers to test every school in the district, but the organization said it doesn't have the authority to facilitate that request. Senator Hawley believes they could if they wanted to.
And yet parents get a total runaround and the government still points fingers and says, oh, no, it's their fault. Oh, no, it's their fault. So I've said enough of this. Just clean it up. Clean up the school. And I've introduced legislation that would force the Department of Energy and the Army Corps to clean up the school.
In the bill, Senator Hawley proposes impacted schools should get up to $20 million to rebuild. Time now to turn to meteorologist Jim Castillo, who's looking at your weather first forecast. Hey, Jim.
Hey, so it is a cold day, but isn't it beautiful out? Looking around the area right now, Moscow Mills to Weldon Spring and downtown St. Louis. Nothing but a blue sky, and there's really no moisture at all. The dew points are low, humidity's low, so very dry, cold air. 37, that's a new high for the day, and northwest wind at 12, and it feels like about 29, so there's a little bit of a wind chill out there, so bundle up if you're headed out this evening. But it is clear, and as we go into tonight, the wind will shift to the southwest at about 5 to 10. That should, keep us in the 20s, upper 20s around St. Louis. And as we go into tomorrow's a Bud Light Grand Parade at 11 a.m. and that temperature at about 45. So we start to see the milder air. It's a little gusty. Winds start to gust to about 25 miles an hour in the afternoon, but the clouds are in the increase. It stays dry, 54 at 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, 45. So some really nice temperatures for Mardi Gras weekend. And I'll have much more on our forecast coming up.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Jim. Right now, Vice President Harris and Secretary of State Blinken are in Germany. They're attending the Munich Security Conference alongside other world leaders. This as the Biden administration faces tensions with China over the Chinese spy balloon shoot down. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Good to see you again.
Vice President Kamala Harris on the world stage today at the Munich Security Conference, hanging over the global gathering the approaching anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and heightened tensions over the Chinese spy balloon. In an NBC News exclusive, Vice President Harris telling Andrea Mitchell that while the U.S.-China relationship has not fundamentally changed.
Surely and certainly that balloon was not helpful.
The vice president saying the U.S. had to shoot it down.
Because we were confident that it was used by China to spy on the American people.
It comes one day after President Biden told NBC's Peter Alexander in another exclusive that, quote, I think the last thing that Chinese President Xi Jinping wants is to fundamentally rip the relationship with the United States and with me. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky urging allies at the Munich conference to speed up military support ahead of Russian President Vladimir Putin's expected spring offensive.
He can still destroy many lives, many. That is why we need to hurry up.
Amid concerns over House Republicans' commitment to Ukraine's security spending, GOP Senator Lindsey Graham in Munich offering this assurance.
I'm a Republican. I promise you there will be bipartisan resolve to keep the assistance going.
Just today, a bipartisan group of House members urging President Biden to send F-16 fighter jets to give Ukraine an upper hand against a sustained and brutal assault. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.